You'd think you'd feel closest to the people you see every single day. Your coworkers, your neighbors, your family across the dinner table. You don't. For a lot of people, the person they feel most understood by is someone they've never met, on the other side of a screen, and there's a specific psychological reason that's not a coincidence. Here's what's strange about it. This isn't new, and it isn't really about the internet at all. The internet just made an old psychological effect enormous. Today, I'll show you where this effect was first discovered, the actual mechanism that makes strangers feel safer than people who know you well, and how to use this knowledge in the relationships that actually matter. Part 1. The Stranger on the Train. In 1970, sociologist Zick Rubin noticed something odd happening on airplanes and trains. Total strangers, sitting next to each other for just a few hours, were revealing deeply personal details, fears, failures, secrets they'd never told their own families. He called this the stranger on the train effect. The core finding: people disclose more to strangers they'll likely never see again than to people deeply embedded in their daily lives. This wasn't about trust in the traditional sense. The strangers weren't more trustworthy. They were simply lower stakes. Part 2. Why anonymity increases honesty. Here's the mechanism. When you talk to someone you'll never see again, there's no social consequence waiting for you tomorrow. No awkward run-in at the office. No change dynamic at the next family dinner. Psychologists call this the absence of social contamination. Your honesty can't leak into the rest of your life, because there is no rest of your life connected to that person. This removes a specific kind of fear, the fear of being permanently redefined by what you reveal. Say something vulnerable to a close friend, and if it lands badly, you live with that redefinition indefinitely. Say the same thing to a stranger on a train, and the moment ends when the train does. Part 3. Why familiarity paradoxically restricts honesty. This is the part that feels backwards. You'd assume people who know you well create more safety for disclosure, not less. But closeness often adds weight instead of removing it. Your coworkers have opinions about your competence that your honesty could damage. Your family has decades of specific expectations that a hard truth might violate. The people who know you best often have the most invested in a particular version of you, and every disclosure risks disrupting that version. Researchers call this identity lock-in. The closer someone is to you, the more locked in your identity becomes in their eyes, and the more expensive it feels to reveal something that doesn't fit it. Part 4. Why the internet supercharged this effect. Online strangers combine the stranger on the train effect with something new, near total anonymity and zero shared social context. There's no office to run into tomorrow, no family dinner to sit through afterward, sometimes not even a real name attached to either side of the conversation. Researchers studying online self-disclosure found that anonymous digital interactions can accelerate intimacy faster than in-person relationships, sometimes called the hyperpersonal model. Fewer social cues to manage, more control over self-presentation, and zero identity lock-in combine into a strange result. A conversation with a stranger on a forum at 2 a.m. can feel more honest than a conversation with someone who's known you for 15 years. Part 5. Using this instead of just noticing it. Here's the useful part. This effect reveals something specific about what actually creates honesty, low stakes and low identity lock-in, not distance itself. That means you can deliberately lower the stakes in real relationships instead of only finding honesty with strangers. Practical technique. When you need to say something difficult to someone close to you, explicitly separate the disclosure from your ongoing identity. Say the quiet part out loud. I need to tell you something, and I need you to hear it as one moment, not as a redefinition of who I am to you. Naming the fear directly often defuses it. Another technique: build small, low-stakes honesty into close relationships regularly. Minor admissions, small vulnerabilities, before you need to make a large one. This slowly lowers identity lock-in over time instead of letting it calcify. Here's the truth. You don't feel closer to strangers because they're better listeners or safer people. You feel closer to them because the cost of being known by them is temporary. The people who actually know you carry the weight of every version of you they've ever seen, and that weight is exactly what makes real intimacy harder and more valuable at the same time. You don't need more strangers to talk to. You need to make the people who already know you feel a little more like that train seat, temporarily, on purpose, one honest moment at a time. The next time you catch yourself opening up more to someone you barely know than someone you love, notice what that's actually telling you about the stakes, not about the person. If this changed how you think about honesty and closeness, share it with someone you wish you could be more open with, and subscribe for more science-based thinking, learning, and mental growth.